Picture a room in Washington where analysts are staring at a single chart and none of them can explain what just happened. The chart shows a nation that was never supposed to be here, climbing faster than any model predicted. For years, the world was told a simple story about artificial intelligence. America builds the smartest machines. China builds them at the largest scale. Every other nation was expected to simply wait and buy whatever these two giants decided to release. India was never supposed to be a serious name in this conversation. But a new AI system built quietly on Indian soil just forced the entire world to rewrite that story. And the way India built it is more shocking than the system itself. This is the story of a nation that was told it could not compete and built something anyway that no one can ignore. Stay until the end, because the final reason this matters could reshape global power for decades to come. For a long time, artificial intelligence looked like a closed club with only two members. The most advanced chips sat inside American factories. The largest computing power sat inside Chinese data centers. India, despite producing millions of skilled engineers every year, always seemed to be watching from just outside the door. Global tech leaders assumed India would remain exactly what it had always been, a nation that used technology built by others. That assumption was convenient for Washington, it was comfortable for Beijing, and it turned out to be completely, dangerously wrong. While the world was busy watching press conferences in California and factory tours across China, another story was quietly unfolding. Small teams of researchers, working with a fraction of the funding available to their rivals, were solving problems no one else had bothered to touch. No dramatic press releases, no flashy public launches, just years of patient, determined work happening far from the world's cameras. Behind closed doors, in government offices, university labs, and cramped startup rooms, Indian scientists were quietly building something entirely different. Not a copy of what already existed somewhere else, but a system shaped by India's own problems, languages, and long-term ambitions. Washington has watched this rise with growing unease, unsure how to slow down a nation moving on its own timeline. Beijing has watched too, uncomfortable with the idea that its biggest rival for global influence is no longer only America. Both giants spent years building walls around their technology, protecting their chips and research like closely guarded treasure. India never had the luxury of walls, so its engineers simply learned to climb over every single one placed in front of them. Every restriction became a puzzle, and every puzzle pushed Indian minds toward a solution nobody else had seriously attempted before. Let us count down the 7 reasons this new Indian AI system is now changing the global technology race, starting from number 7. Number 7 is the sheer scale of the challenge India chose to solve, one that America and China had both quietly ignored. Most powerful AI systems around the world were built to understand English first, treating every other language as an afterthought. But India is home to more than 20 officially recognized languages, along with hundreds of dialects spoken across its many states. A farmer in Bihar and a shopkeeper in Tamil Nadu live in the same country but speak languages nothing alike. Yet both deserve the same access to intelligent, helpful technology, and India refused to leave either one of them behind. This new AI system was built from the ground up to understand these languages naturally, without clumsy or slow translation in between. This was never going to be an easy task. Training a machine to understand Hindi, Tamil, Bengali, Telugu, and dozens of other languages at once required a completely new approach. Global tech companies had avoided this exact challenge for years simply because it was not profitable enough to justify the effort. India did it anyway, because for India, this project was never only about profit or prestige.
It was about reaching every single citizen, not just the small percentage who happened to speak fluent English. Linguists worked side by side with engineers, feeding the system centuries of literature, poetry, and everyday spoken conversation from across the country. Villages that once felt completely invisible to modern technology suddenly found a machine willing to listen in their own native tongue. And that single decision is now becoming India's greatest advantage in the entire global technology race. Number 6 is the government's massive coordinated national push behind this mission, unlike anything the country had attempted before. The India AI mission poured billions of dollars into building the exact infrastructure this new system needed to survive and eventually thrive. Thousands of powerful graphics processing units, the engines that quietly power modern artificial intelligence, were secured through global partnerships almost overnight. This was never a small startup working alone inside a cramped garage somewhere on the edge of the city. This was an entire nation deciding, together, that artificial intelligence was simply too important to be left behind any longer. Universities, private companies, and government researchers were all pulled into the exact same coordinated national effort at once. Even India's largest telecom giants stepped forward, offering their own data centers and computing power to help accelerate the mission. State governments joined too, offering land, cheaper electricity, and local support to any company willing to build data centers nearby. This turned one single national mission into hundreds of smaller efforts, all quietly pointed in the exact same direction. This kind of unified national push had never before been attempted at this scale by any democracy in modern history. Critics said India moved too slowly, too cautiously, always a few careful steps behind the world's recognized leaders. But what no one expected was how quickly that gap could close once the entire country decided to move as one. Young founders who once dreamed of moving abroad for better opportunities began staying home, drawn by this new wave of funding and purpose. For the first time, building artificial intelligence in India felt less like a distant dream and more like a realistic career path. Number 5 is the surprising cost efficiency behind India's entire approach, a detail that shocked global technology analysts immediately. Building powerful artificial intelligence inside America and China required staggering amounts of money, often tens of billions of dollars at once. India could never match those enormous numbers, so its engineers were forced to think differently from the very first day. Instead of chasing the biggest possible model, they focused on building the smartest possible model for the resources actually available. Smaller, far more efficient systems that required much less computing power to train and operate every single day of use. This is the same disciplined spirit that once helped India reach the moon for less money than a Hollywood science fiction film. Now that same spirit was being carefully applied to artificial intelligence, and the results stunned even the most skeptical global observers. Reports suggested India's new system achieved genuinely impressive performance using only a fraction of the resources its American rivals required. This mattered enormously to developing nations across the world who could never realistically afford America's far more expensive approach. Suddenly, countries across Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America began looking toward India instead of Silicon Valley for practical solutions. A cheaper, smarter path toward artificial intelligence was no longer just a distant dream, it was already sitting right there in India. Analysts began comparing India's approach to a skilled mechanic fixing an engine with half the tools, yet still winning the race. This efficiency was never an accident. It was the direct result of years spent solving real problems with genuinely limited resources.
Number 4 is how this new system is reaching ordinary citizens in ways no global AI system had ever truly managed. In small villages scattered across India, farmers are now speaking directly to this AI system through simple voice commands alone. No typing, no complicated apps, just a natural, easy conversation in their own local language about crops, weather, or government schemes.
A grandmother who never learned to read English can now ask this machine a question and receive a clear, useful answer. This might sound like a small convenience, but for hundreds of millions of people, it is nothing short of revolutionary change. Government offices are beginning to use this same system to process paperwork, answer citizen queries, and quietly reduce corruption in public services. Hospitals in remote rural areas are testing versions of this AI to help doctors diagnose illnesses faster despite having limited resources. Teachers in distant schools are using the system to translate lessons instantly, reaching children who once fell behind simply because of language barriers. Small business owners are asking it for advice on loans, taxes, and paperwork that once required expensive lawyers or paid agents. This is technology quietly closing gaps that decades of expensive government policy alone had never fully managed to close. In one small district, local officials reported that citizen complaints were resolved twice as fast once this system was properly introduced. Numbers like this rarely make international headlines, but they quietly add up into something far larger than any single statistic suggests. Number 3 is the sudden wave of interest from foreign governments who never expected India to become a serious player this fast. Nations across Africa and Southeast Asia have begun sending official delegations to India, hoping to license or adopt this new AI system. Unlike many American companies, India is not asking these smaller nations to hand over their data or their independence in exchange. This approach, built on genuine partnership rather than strict control, is quietly winning India's trust in parts of the world America overlooked for decades. Even wealthier nations across the Middle East have begun exploring partnerships, drawn by India's unusual mix of skill and surprisingly low cost. This is soft power moving quietly through silicon and software instead of through soldiers and carefully rehearsed speeches. Diplomats now quietly admit that technology partnerships are becoming just as important as trade deals or old military alliances once were. India, almost without formally announcing it, has become a nation other countries genuinely want standing beside them instead of above them. That kind of trust cannot be purchased overnight, and it is proving far more valuable than most analysts originally realized. Every new partnership chips away just slightly at the total dominance America and China had long assumed was permanently theirs to keep. And every small chip in that dominance makes the next one just a little bit easier for others to break. Number 2 is the uncomfortable question this new system is now forcing both America and China to face directly and honestly. For years, both superpowers assumed the entire AI race would remain a two-player contest, fought entirely on their own private terms. India's rise introduces a genuine third path, one that other nations, tired of choosing between two competing giants, can now consider instead. This shift worries both Washington and Beijing far more than most public headlines are willing to openly admit right now. Export restrictions on advanced chips were designed specifically to keep countries like India several steps behind the world's leading technology powers. Yet India built powerful systems anyway, working carefully around limitations with clever engineering instead of simply giving up in frustration. This proves something deeply unsettling for anyone hoping to control the future of artificial intelligence through restrictions alone.
Talent and sheer determination can outmaneuver even the strictest technological barriers, given enough time and enough brilliant minds working together closely. Some American lawmakers have already begun quietly discussing new strategies to slow India's progress before it grows any further. But strategies built to control the past rarely work well against a nation already racing determinedly toward the future. By the time new restrictions are even written into law, India's engineers have often already found a clever way around them. And that lesson will not be forgotten quickly by anyone carefully watching this story unfold from the outside world. Number one, and the most shocking reason of all, is what this AI system truly represents for India's global position going forward. This is no longer simply about catching up to America or China in a race that someone else originally defined first. This is about India defining an entirely new path, one built on inclusion, efficiency, and reaching the many rather than the privileged few. Every farmer who speaks to this system in his own language becomes living proof that technology does not need to leave people behind. Every partnership formed with a smaller nation becomes proof that global power does not always require domination or strict control over others. And every efficient breakthrough becomes proof that necessity, not just enormous money, can still drive genuine innovation forward in the modern world. The world spent years asking whether India could ever truly lead in artificial intelligence at the highest possible level. That question no longer needs to be asked, because the answer is already running quietly through servers scattered across the entire country. This changes the global technology race in ways that will take rivals years to fully understand and properly respond to. For decades, the world underestimated India, seeing only crowded streets and old, outdated infrastructure supposedly holding the entire nation back. But behind those very streets, inside universities, startups, and government offices, something extraordinary was quietly taking shape all along the way. America built its AI empire through massive capital and decades of largely uninterrupted technological dominance across nearly every industry. China built its empire through total government control and rapid, disciplined industrial scaling across its entire national economy. India is building something genuinely different, an AI empire shaped by necessity, driven by scale, and grounded in real human purpose. This is not simply a story about defeating American companies or matching China's long-standing technological ambition on the world stage. This is a story about India finally proving that it truly belongs among the nations shaping humanity's shared technological future. Years from now, people may look back at this exact moment as the quiet turning point nobody fully noticed at the time. No dramatic headline, no single explosive announcement, just a steady stream of progress that slowly reshaped the balance of global power. That is how real empires are truly built, not with a single explosion, but through thousands of small, determined steps forward. And once enough of those steps are taken, no rival power, no matter how wealthy, can simply undo them anymore. The chips are already working. The languages are already understood. The system is already speaking right now to more than 1 billion people who were told for years that this moment would never come. The world spent decades wondering if India could ever truly lead. The real question now is remarkably simple. Who can possibly catch up, and how much time do they truly have left before the gap becomes impossible to close? History rarely gives clear warnings before the balance of power quietly shifts for good. This may be one of those rare, quiet moments the world will only recognize looking back years from now.